Hello Booksties, welcome to today's video. As you can see from our surroundings, we are not in my bedroom. So last week I told you guys that this video is going to be about how I'm going to get myself out of a reading slump. In all honesty, I have kind of started the steps towards getting there. I thought it would be fun if you guys came along today with me as I continue this journey of slowly but surely crawling out of this desperate place I have found myself in reading wise. Sorry if the camera is shaking. It's the car. I can't really do anything about it. So before I tell you about today's plans, let me give you a little recap of what I have done so far. So the thing is, for the past 2 to 3 years, I would say, I fell into the trap of following other people's opinions when it comes to reading, and I slowly lost touch with what initially sparked the love of reading in me. I joined Bookstagram, I started watching BookTube. Don't get me wrong, those things have introduced me to some of my favorite books, but by doing so, I also kind of lost my own identity. So I would just see people online raving about a certain book or sharing how excited they were, what an experience it was, and I would be like, oh, I want to experience that, not knowing that one book might be someone's 5-star Infinity Star read and it could be like the worst read of my life. So I ended up on this whole big FOMO buying trip where I bought a whole bunch of random books only for the purpose of not missing out. I really wanted to feel included. I wanted to feel like I'm also experiencing what everybody online is talking about. Long story short, I ended up with a lot of unread books, DNF books, or books that I truly did not enjoy. I feel like that's what contributed majorly to the reading slump I'm currently trying to get out of. So initially my plan was to retrace my steps and kind of think back on the days when I really enjoyed reading, and it wasn't like this race or this competition or this never-ending marathon of keeping up with all the new releases and wanting to match the vibe and the aesthetic of all the bookish girlies. You know what I'm talking about. And then I realized, you know what, back in the day, before reading was made popular again, I would just walk into any bookstore. It could be a used bookstore, it could be like a regular bookstore with recent releases, it didn't matter. And I would just read the backs of books and pick up what kind of spoke to me, what seemed interesting. And it doesn't mean I'm never going to end up reading books I don't like, but at least it's because I took the chance and I chose to give this book a try, instead of just like, oh, because a certain girl on Instagram was raving about it. You know what I mean? So about a week ago, I decided to do a buddy read with one of my booksties. It was a reread of one of my favorite books that I found in, I want to say, 2021 or 2022 at a used bookstore. I would pass by the same book several times over several trips until I finally decided, you know what, this book keeps calling to me. I have to pick it up and I want to know what it's about. And it turned out to be one of my most beloved reads, unforgettable. Just reading this familiar book reminded me how much I used to love reading. Anyways, so that kind of got me thinking, what if I just went back to the basics? What if I started either rereading some of my favorite books to remind me why I fell in love with reading in the first place? Second step was to do a buddy read. It's more fun to read with someone else and then get to discuss the book, so that also helped. And then I also went on Amazon and I started downloading a few books I've had my eye on. Mind you, they are popular books on Bookstagram and YouTube, but I didn't want to do the mistake of like buying the paperbacks before even deciding if I'm gonna like this book, especially when it's a series. So I downloaded a few books. I weeded out the ones that were like a definite no. Then I had a few that were like a maybe, that intrigued me enough. And then there were some where I read a few chapters and I was like immediately, yes, I am hooked. I need the paperback. I want to start annotating. Those are the ones I would want to order physical copies of. Another method that I tried, that was I think last month, yeah, it was in July. I went to ChatGPT and I was like, could you recommend me some books that were released anywhere between 2016, 2020, you know, that time frame. And I wanted specific types of books based off of titles I have given 5 stars to. That kind of helped ChatGPT narrow down the options, and I actually found quite a few 5-star reads through this method, but this is something I would also highly recommend. Having done all of these steps, I was like, now we need to move to next level. The next level being going in person to some of the bookstores. I'm gonna go to 2 bookstores today. The first one is a used bookstore. It's about 20-25 minutes away from my house. It's the one you guys usually see me go to either on Instagram or even here on my YouTube. And I am looking for a very specific book. I read this book years ago, and it is a classic, and it's called The Mill on the Floss by George Eliot. If you didn't know, George Eliot is actually a woman, and she was very progressive for her day, so I love that about her writing. Maybe the used bookstore might have it, because I know for a fact they have a section full of classics. And I'm really hoping, you guys, that I find it there, because I'm reading on my Kindle, but something about reading a classic on your Kindle just doesn't feel right. Like, I don't know what it is. So that's mission number 1. Mission number 2, I want to go to a regular bookstore, which is in another city, and I want to either pick up an Agatha Christie book, because those were my comfort read. In high school, I loved me a good Agatha Christie book. Since we are approaching fall, I was like, this would be the perfect vibe. Either Miss Marple or Monsieur Poirot. Like, those 2 are just chef's kiss in my opinion. And while I'm at it, I thought I could browse and see what catches my eye, not because it's like been raved about online, not because it's a new release. I mean, if I find a new release that seems interesting, I'm not gonna be so closed-minded and be like, no, it's a new release, you know. If it seems appealing, I will pick it up, but I'm not going there with the mindset of like, oh, it has to be a new release or I'm not gonna buy it. I just want to go browse, see what speaks to me, and spark the love of reading. Let me show you the drink of the day. Hold on. My go-to anemic juice. Any of you out there are anemic as well and you struggle? It's basically a fresh juice blend of pomegranate, beetroot, carrots. Pomegranate, beetroot, carrots. Yeah. So whenever I'm feeling like a little extra low on blood production, I drink one of these bad boys and it really helps. So highly recommend. Alright, booksies, I have yapped more than enough. I will see you in the bookstore. Alright guys, we have arrived. I won't be doing too much talking because there are people here today and I don't want to like disturb anyone. This is basically the section I'm gonna be searching in because this is their like classics. I hope I find what I'm looking for. Wish me luck. So unfortunately, I did not find The Mill on the Floss or anything else by George Eliot for that matter. The classics that were available did not spark my interest, but I found a gem, which I will show you later on when we do our haul. Just know I am beyond excited right now. Like, really excited. Now I'm gonna go off to the next bookstore. I'm not going there with the hopes that I'm gonna find The Mill on the Floss. Maybe I can find like a good thriller or some good fiction or even a romance. Oh, there is actually a book that I was thinking about getting. It's by, I think her name is Erin Craig. It's like a gothic YA fantasy, and I thought would be perfect for this upcoming season. Other than that, I'm just gonna go to browse. So see you there. Alright, Booksties, as you can tell, I am back home. I was supposed to go to another used bookstore to look for The Mill on the Floss, but unfortunately it seems that they have shut down. Also, don't mind the lighting. I really don't feel like setting up my ring light, so we're just gonna pretend the lighting is fabulous. Also made myself a little iced coffee, don't worry, decaf. And I walked in to some freshly baked bread by my eldest kid. I mean, look, I even put some butter in there and it's so delicious. He made baguettes. I'm telling you, get yourself a kid that bakes. This is the stack of books that I got from today's book trip. But before I show you guys what I got, I just remembered there are a few more tips that I want to share with you regarding getting out of a reading slump. One of them is actually to read outside of your comfort genres, and that is exactly what I did 2 days ago. I picked up, hold on, let me get you the book. I picked up If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, and to be honest, I read The Secret History a while ago, was not a fan, so I was kind of like worried because dark academia is not usually a genre I gravitate towards, but then I was like, you know what, I'm already in a slump. How much worse can it get? And this actually helped get me out of the reading slump. I absolutely devoured this in the span of like 48 hours or less. It was fantastic in my opinion. I gave it 4 stars. I will talk more in depth about it in my August reading wrap-up, so stay tuned for that. A slump could be due to you being stuck reading the same genres over and over again. Another piece of advice would be to change your reading location. If you usually sit in the same place every single day and then you find yourself getting distracted because maybe you sit somewhere where there is a lot of noise or there are people around you, try changing your reading location. If you usually only read at home, try reading outside in a coffee shop maybe or in a park. Oh, and another very, very useful thing that helped me is either listening to audiobooks, because I recently listened to Daughter of No Worlds and I got so invested that I had to pause the audiobook because I got the immediate urge to read it in physical format, like I actually want to physically read it. That was very helpful. And also related to audiobooks is immersive reading. I did immersive reading for 2 books recently, one of them being, what was it called? Fuel the Fire. It's part of the Addicted series because it's like Rose and Connor's book, so I didn't really feel motivated to just like sit there and read the physical copy. So I did an immersive read. In case you don't know what that means, it's basically when you listen to the audiobook and you simultaneously read a physical copy or like the ebook along with the audiobook. It helps keep you focused and keep you from getting distracted, especially if it's like a book that is maybe contributing to your reading slump. This really helped me kind of like tackle my TBR, and it got me motivated to continue reading. That being said, let me show you guys all the books that I got today. So the first two books I'm going to show you I found at the used bookstore, and they are none other than A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. These are the original covers, and I cannot find them anywhere. Last summer, I actually found these two as well as the novella, I think it was. And for some reason, I did not pick them up. And then when I saw these today at the used bookstore, I was like, I don't care if it's not the complete set. I will take whatever I can get, because these are gorgeous in my opinion, and you cannot find them anywhere. And I got them for a really good bargain as well, because they are used. So those are going to go up most likely with my Sarah J. Maas shelf, although it's pretty packed as is. It's this shelf right here. So we'll see how we're going to fit them. But I am so beyond grateful that I was able to find these. Moving on, this is the stack that I got from the regular bookshop today. And I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I haven't felt this excited book shopping in years. I just followed my gut. I did not open Goodreads once. I did not check social media. I did not try to look up anything about these books. I mean, these could end up being 5 stars. These could end up being 1 stars, but it doesn't matter. The point is, I chose them because they spoke to me. And I did not choose them because of FOMO. I did not choose them because I wanted to be part of some kind of online sensation. I did not choose them because I felt pressured. First one being The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie. This one is a Miss Marple one. Unfortunately, the ones with Monsieur Poirot did not, like, I either read them or they did not seem interesting to me, so this is the only Agatha Christie book I picked up. Let me read you what it says. When Mrs. Bantry wakes to find a body in her library, there's only one woman to call, her good friend, Jane Marple. But she hasn't called her old friend for comfort. The body in her library has been murdered, and Miss Marple is so very good at solving murders. Her investigations uncover a scandal far darker than either of them could have imagined, and this time she may be out of her depth. I love me a good Miss Marple mystery. I don't know if you guys are into Agatha Christie the way I am, but I have watched like all of her TV series, and I have read a lot of her books growing up, and I specifically chose this one because something about the murder taking place in the library just seemed so cozy, like the epitome of coziness and autumnal vibes. Second book, this one has actually been on my wish list for quite some time, and anytime I wanted to go ahead and buy it, it was sold out. A man called, I don't know if it's Ove or Ove. I've heard some people say Ove. In my head, it's like Ove. I don't know. It's by Frederick Buckman. I have only read one book by him so far, and that was before the whole online community got obsessed with his work. He is a fantastic writer, in my opinion. Wait, let me show you the book that I read by him. My grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry, and something about how deep yet whimsical yet heartwarming his writing is just like really spoke to me, and I absolutely loved it. I obviously wanted to read his other book, which is this one. It says, at first sight, Ove is almost certainly the grumpiest man you will ever meet. Okay, I don't know how to say this word, so don't come at me. A curmudgeon with staunch principles, strict routines, and a short fuse. This guy sounds very much like me. People think him bitter, and he thinks himself surrounded by idiots. Definitely. Ove's well-ordered, solitary world gets a shake-up one November morning with the appearance of new neighbors, a chatty young couple and their 2 boisterous daughters who announce their arrival by accidentally flattening Ove's mailbox with their U-Haul. What follows is a heartwarming tale of unkempt cats, unlikely friendships, and a community's unexpected reassessment of the one person they thought they had all figured out. I also heard it's like really sad, so yeah, wish me luck. This one I'm really excited about because pre doing this whole reading slump situation thing, I would have never picked up this book. I would have been immediately on Goodreads, but I'm all judgy. I would have definitely not given it a chance. But today I was like, you know what? If it sounds good to me, I want to give it a chance. I don't want to know what other people thought about it. I want to form my own opinions. I just like kind of skimmed through the book, through a few of the chapters, just like to see what the writing was about. It sounded cute. So, first of all, it's called Spells, Strings, and Forgotten Things by Brianne Randall. This is what it looks like. And it just like felt really whimsical and perfect for like spooky season. So it says, a witch cursed with sacrificing memories to cast spells must decide how much she's willing to lose to save her own town in this thrilling tale of magic, love, and self-discovery. In the small town of Gold Springs, Calliope, is it Calliope or Calliope? I'm going to call her Calliope. It sounds more fun. Petriti and her two sisters carefully guard the secret of their magic and the price they must pay to practice it, memories. Luckily, all Calliope wants to do is forget. The mother who left without a trace, the sisters from whom she feels increasingly distant, and most of all, the way the love of her life shattered her heart 2 years ago. But when an ancient evil awakens, the fragile thread that holds the sisters together breaks. As their magic slowly begins to fade, Calliope accidentally binds herself to the handsome leader of a rival coven infamous for their ruthless pursuit of power. Battling her sizzling chemistry with a man she can't trust, Calliope must confront painful memories of her past, dark family secrets, and ancient magic to protect the town and all she loves. But will she have anything left for herself? Tell me this does not sound like a fantastic good time. I'm sorry, immediately sold. Now this one is the YA book I told you guys I wanted to pick up because it's got like these gothic vibes and it's also a fantasy. It's called The 13th Child by Aaron A. Craig. Now, hear me out. The first book I ever read by this author was an immediate 5 stars for me. She just like really knows how to paint a picture, the way she describes the fairy tale vibes, the fantasy, what the characters were wearing, the setting, the banter, the tension. Obviously it's YA, so it's not like spicy or anything, but the romance and the tension, they just ate. So I was immediately hooked. I went out and I bought the rest of her books. Any book she wrote, I bought it. At the time, I think she had only 2 other books or 3. She only had 2 other books out at the time. And unfortunately, both of them were like 2 stars for me. But then reading the premise of this book really made me want to give her another chance. Hazel Trepass has always known she wasn't like her siblings. A 13th child promised to one of the gods, she spends her childhood waiting for her benefactor Merrick, the god of death, to arrive and take her away. When he does, he lays out exactly what he's planned for Hazel's future. She will become a great and celebrated healer. To aid her endeavors, Merrick blesses Hazel with a gift, the ability to instantly deduce the exact cure needed to treat the sick. But all gifts come with a price. Hazel can see when death has claimed a patient and is tasked with ending their suffering permanently. Haunted by the ghosts of those she's killed, Hazel longs to run, but destiny brings her to the royal court where she meets Leopold, a rakish prince with a disdain for everyone and everything. And that's where Hazel faces her biggest dilemma yet. Should she save the life of a king marked to die? Hazel knows what she is meant to do and what her heart is urging her toward. But what will happen if she goes against the will of death himself? How do we justify the impossible choices we make for the ones we love? So it's quite a chunky book, but I'm kind of excited for this one. So I will keep you updated on how it goes. And the last and final book is a book I will tell you right now, I definitely would have never ever picked up. But I'm telling you, things are changing. I'm changing. This is a new era. This is a new me. So let's see how long she will last. I picked up Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. Now, I know there was another one called Ninth House that I looked for, but I couldn't find it because I know that one has like dark academia vibes. And to be honest, after reading If We Were Villains today and seeing that dark academia could actually be done well, I was like, you know what? I'm here for it, especially during this kind of season. I don't know. I'm just in the mood. But since I didn't find the other one, I read the back of this one and it kind of spoke to me. Wealth, power, murder, and magic. Alex Stern is back, and the Ivy League is going straight to hell. Oh my god, you guys, hold on. Is this like book 2 after 9th house? Oh crap. Wait. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and read the back, and I will have to find a way to figure out if this is a standalone or if this one comes after 9th house. Galaxy Alex Stern is determined to break Darlington out of hell, even if it costs her a future at Leith and at Yale. But Alex is playing with forces far beyond her control, and when faculty members begin to die off, okay, she knows these aren't just accidents. Something deadly is at work in New Haven, and if Alex is going to survive, she'll have to reckon with the monsters of her past and a darkness built into the university's very walls. Now, I know that this has like a little bit of fantasy or like magical elements to it, and I like that it has a little bit of mystery too, because I like the combination of dark academia with mystery. Add to that a little bit of like fantasy. I feel that should be really, really good. Honestly, the cover always put me off because something about it just gives me the ick, like really grosses me out. But we'll see. The video after this one should be my August reading wrap up. All right, Booksies, this concludes today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!